Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be that his head wasn't screwed on right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in the Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas and it's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find a way to keep Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew all the Who girls and boys would wake up bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh the noise, oh the noise, oh the noise, noise, noise. That's the one thing he hated, the noise, noise, noise. And the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, feast, feast. They would start on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Whos would start singing. They'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing, 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 and the more Grinch thought of the whole Christmas thing, the more Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop Christmas from coming, but how? Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and chuckled. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, and he took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, giddy up, and the sleigh started down toward the homes, where the Whos lay a-snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Whos were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first house in the square, this is the #1 stop. The old Grinchy claws hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two, then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant, around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorns, and plums, and he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney. Then he slunk to his icebox. He took the whole Who feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee, and now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree, and he started to shove, when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast, and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou Who. Come on, Jesse, we need a Cindy Lou. Who's going to be Cindy Lou? Yeah, you're Cindy Lou, who was not more than 2. Come on up, little 2-year-old Cindy Lou. And along came Cindy Lou, who was wearing a Pink Floyd t-shirt instead of the Who. Oh, sorry, it's the Oasis. The Grinch had been caught by this little Who daughter. Come on, get some action in it. Let's get some feel. Who got out of bed. Oh, no. For a cold cup of water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? Come on, put some action in here. But you know that the old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a line. He thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on the Christmas tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head. Pat her head.
Patted her head.
And he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and he stuffed the tree up. And the last thing he took was the log for their fire, and he went up the chimney himself, that old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire, and one speck of food. Then he left the house with a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who mouses. It was 1:15, all the Who's still in bed, all the Who's still asnooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsels, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Rumpet, he rode to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Who's. He was Grinchiously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, I know just what I'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. All the Who's down in the Who room will cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ear. And he did not hear a sound rising above the snow. It started in a row, and it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so. But it was merry. It was very merry. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes, then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing, without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came, somehow or the other, it's just the same. And the Grinch, with his feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could this be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe he thought Christmas doesn't come from the store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, and the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from the store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say, the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day.
It's not where your heart is.
And the minute his heart didn't feel so tight, he whipped his head to the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beef. The